Hello and welcome to the Plus EV betting channel. The midweek edition, we've got 3 games coming up on Tuesday in League 1. But first of all, as always, let's start with the weekend review. Hasn't been a great weekend, as you can see here. Small loss from 40 units staked, which equal 40 bets. And a small loss of 5% basically. I've updated the figures for the whole season. Again, sample size very small. And I wouldn't read too much into that just now. Over to the Premier League, we had quite a few bets here, and yeah, I'm gonna pick a few games here to talk about. Sheffield versus West Ham because I watched it. Anyone who watched the match knows that this was a game of very few chances. The first half, I can't remember any chance really. I mean, it was a typical 0-0. And then the West Ham goalkeeper, Fabianski, got injured, and the number 2, what's his name, Martin, the reserve goalkeeper, got in, and he made this bad pass and basically he gave Sheffield a chance. He did their best to mess it up actually, but they scored, which proved to be the only goal because West Ham had a late equalizer taken away by VAR, which I'm not going to get into. But I'm perfectly happy with the under, and I've also added the fair goals here. I'm also happy with siding with West Ham here with the handicap start. I think a draw would have been a fair result. And this is important, as I always say. Don't just look at the result. Long term, sure, look at the results, the bottom line, count your money. But for individual games, these figures tell me much more about the game. So looking at this, it seems like an under game, and it seems like a game neither side really deserved to win or lose. So I'm happy with the bet, and I'm thinking of ways to visualize this a little bit better, because I mean the bet quality, because now you sort of have to look at the numbers and compare these numbers to these here, which is a bit tedious. So I'm thinking of ways to improve the presentation, and yeah, but this is what we got for now. Quick word about Aston Villa against Man City. We won the over, which I think they scored 4 in the first half, so it was never in doubt really. Even though actually, going by these numbers, it turns out to be a bad bet, but City were ruthless for once. That's been a big issue this season. I mean, all the stats and underlying metrics point to them being the best team in the league, and why wouldn't they be? I mean, they were last season and they were the season before, and the thing that a lot of people don't understand really, that these people look at results, as I always say, when they should be looking at the big picture. But also team strengths don't just change with unchanged personnel, and personnel hasn't changed for Liverpool and Man City, so why would there be this big gap between them now? I mean, Liverpool tend to win their games by the odd goal, and that could continue, it might not. But in my mind, there's no doubt that City remain the best side in the league, but as I said, they haven't taken their chances. Bad finishing, bad luck, and also their opponents being incredibly ruthless. I mean, I read a statistic over the weekend that in the games they've lost this season, the conversion rate by the opponents from shots on target to goals was ridiculous. Something about 80% or more, when 30 to 35% is normal. So that tells you a lot about what's going on. I mean, these things happen every season. I mean, and that's why it makes me laugh when people always say, "Oh, the table doesn't lie." Well, yeah, in terms of counting the goals and the points, it doesn't lie, but it never tells the whole story about the team's strengths. And I mean, of course, Liverpool are massive favourites for the title now, so that's the reality. But if they were to face Man City on a neutral pitch tomorrow, Man City would be favourites, and that's also a fact. So, anyway, little rant over to the Championship. And I'm not going to spend too much time here. Maybe the first game, Brentford vs QPR, I talked about QPR in the last video. They had just scored 11 goals against one league game, one cup game, but the cup match was against Swansea, who are in the same division. And again, I made the point that you shouldn't get carried away by this. The fair goals didn't indicate any surprising numbers really. QPR was just fortunate in that sense, and there was no reason to assume they're going to do the same to Brentford, and Brentford are a top 3 side. So yeah, they were 3-0 up, I think, in the first half, and were the winners and covered the handicap as well. So as always, you can pause the video and look at these numbers in more detail. This is League One, where we were really off the mark, I have to say. If we look at a few bets that we lost here, Doncaster Shrewsbury, this was the midweek game. We were on the away side, so this was a loser, and seems like Doncaster were the winners here. We were also on the under, which seems like a good bet. Then we were on Doncaster, and this time they won for us. Burton versus Fleetwood over, yeah, didn't cover. Coventry versus MK Dons, didn't cover the handicap, and the under, okay, that's 1.9, so that's a good bet. Ipswich versus Accrington, 5 goals, but again, you can see 2 goals would have been fair, so I have to go by this. I have to trust these numbers. I've been using these numbers for a long time, so I know they're correct long term, and there's no point in beating myself up about it. And I just have to accept that I got unlucky here, and the bet was good. Of course, it doesn't help us this weekend because we lost a few units in League One. Okay, over to the 3 games we have tomorrow. They're all played on Tuesday in League One. You can see the expected goals, the total, and the fair odds for the over-under market. And derived from that, I identified 2 bets, which is Burton versus MK Dons. The first bet is on Burton, giving up the 3/4 handicap. Pretty big value bet here. And the second one is Lincoln versus Bolton, over 2.5 at evens. So good luck if you follow these bets, and I'll be back on either Thursday or Friday, probably on Thursday because the games are being played tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be back on Thursday with the review and also the preview for the upcoming weekend fixtures. Good luck.